like to call the Township Board meeting to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee McDowell?
Here.
Trustee Farson?
Here.
Trustee Fisher?
Here.
Trustee Holmes? Here. Chairman Neal?
Here. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? And Mr. Bremner, would you mind leading us?
Proudly. Please join in the pledge of allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Are there any agenda changes this evening? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Motion second?
Second.
Motion second. Discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Farson?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes? Aye. Chairman Neal?
Aye. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held on October 19th, 2021 at 6 o'clock p.m. Is there a motion?
Move to approve the minutes.
Motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye.
Trustee Farson?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes? Aye. Chairman Neal?
Aye. Next item on the agenda is Mr. Dennis Burke with United Waste 211 for a special presentation.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Yep, please.
Good evening and thank you. I am Dennis Burke with United Way of Lake County. I'm pleased to talk to you tonight about our 211 program. I have a few slide handouts for you, but I have some comments prior to getting to those. For those of you that don't know, 211 is a 24/7/365 confidential help and referral line. It was launched in September of 2019. You might recall this booklet that we used to prepare for the community, the Find Help Lake County Guide. Like anything that's printed, the minute you print it, there's something out of date that's not up to date. 211 was launched in response to a tremendous need in Lake County for services. You may not know this, but perhaps you do. There are more than 1,000 social services available to the residents of Lake County. What 211 does is quickly, confidentially, and 24/7, 365 days a year, connect individuals to those resources in their time of need. You can connect to 211 from any phone by simply dialing 211, by texting your zip code to 898-211, or visiting 211lakecounty.org. If you call or text, you are connected to a navigator who is trained to help you diagnose the challenges that you're having. The beauty of 211 is that, unlike when we were like this and you were forced to search for things on your own and make phone calls, it was very frustrating to both the caller in need of services at that time as well as the service providers. We have data that indicates that prior to 211, individuals would make 7 or 8 phone calls before they got to the right organization. So just think that level of frustration for that person in their time of need or crisis, and also for that service provider. So now 211 is available to connect those individuals to services in their time of need. I just want to share with you that on September 23rd, we hosted a panel discussion. Mark Jones, who is the supervisor of Waukegan Township, thank you, chaired a panel that Mayor Bill McKinney also sat on as well. Together with a number of community leaders, Kelly Brown from our call center, Brenda O'Connell from Lake County Government, Mary Lockhart White from Community Action Partners of Lake County, and Bonnie Yankovic from Lake County Health Department. I will share this with the supervisor, and I encourage you, it is about an hour-and-a-half presentation, but I encourage you to go to minute 32 where the panel discussion takes place. And it will tell a much better story than I can tell you just with facts and figures here about the importance of 211. So now, I'd like to share with you some information that is in front of you. It's noted as page 5 on your first handout. Lake County contacts for the latest 12-month period, that would be July 1 of 2020 to June 30, 2021. We had about 10,780 calls and texts, but nearly another 40,000 website sessions, so more than 50,000 contacts over that time period. And I can tell you, since launch in September of 2019, we've had over 100,000 contacts. You can learn more in our annual report that can be found on our website at 211lakecounty.org. I'm going to share some information with you that's not in your handout. I'll be very quick about this. But we average about 1,000 calls and texts per month. But I would highlight to you that in the month of August 2020, when the initial federal benefits expired for COVID-related assistance, our calls really spiked. And more than 60% of all contacts to 211 were COVID-related. So if you think about the timing of when 211 was launched in September of 2019 and when COVID fell upon us in March of 2020, how fortunate we were to have this service available. And again, the panel discussion will describe that for you as well. The township here does provide services, but I suspect that it's probably at 8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. More than 27% of the contacts to 211 actually occur after hours, on holidays, weekends, evenings, etc. Just a little bit of who's calling 211. 18 to 55, 55-year-olds make up about 72%, and about 69% of the callers are female. With regard to race and ethnicity, it breaks down about a third between Hispanic, Latino, white, and black, and a small portion of Asian and American Pacific Islanders also are contacted children. Now, if you turn to the second page of the handout that I gave you, it'll say page 10 on the bottom, you'll see a map. This is our heat map, which indicates where contacts are coming from. This is the map of Lake County, and I hope what you notice immediately is that there's no white space on this map. Contacts are literally coming from every zip code in Lake County. Now, the top communities contacting 211 are Waukegan with about 31% of the contacts. Zion is second with 10% of the contacts to 211. Round Lake is about 9%, Ernie 7%, and North Chicago is about 6%. If you turn to the next page, you should see something headed Total Needs in Lake County, July 2020 to June 2021. And this lists the primary categories where individuals are seeking help. So as you can see, housing and shelter literally jumps off the page. Nearly 7,900 contacts for individuals seeking assistance with regard to housing and shelter. And I'll drill down on that just a little bit. Utilities, nearly 3,000 contacts, and food assistance, more than 1,500. I can tell you that what we learned over the pandemic is that many callers to 211 share that they were never in this situation before. They never sought assistance before. This is something entirely new to them, but they were very grateful to have 211 available to them. Those top three categories, housing, shelter, utilities, and food, comprise about 60% of all the needs presented to 211, and that's been consistent really since launch. If you turn to the next page, it'll drill down on contacts from Zion Township in particular. And again, you can see, while some of the categories might be a little bit different, and you can tell just by the length of the bar, which these were most important in Zion Township compared to Lake County. But again, rising to the top, housing and shelter, 743 contacts, utilities, 296, food, 148. Total contacts from Zion Township were 1,787, about 10% of all the contacts in Lake County. And again, about 60% represented those needs in the area of housing, shelter, and utilities. I'd also like to point out to you that mental health and addictions was another category that really rose to the top here. So if you turn to the next page, top needs in Lake County by subcategory. So those top three categories, remember housing and shelter, utilities and food. Under those, we've got a further breakdown. So in Lake County, rent payment assistance, 4,300 contacts. Electric, which of course is utility, 1,700, food pantries, 1,500. And as you can see, these are the top categories within those major categories where outreach for assistance came from, and that comprises about 73% of the total. And then finally, on page 14, you'll see Zion Township by subcategory. And again, as you would suspect, Zion Township mirrors what was going on in the county. Highest areas of need were rent payment assistance, homeless shelters, and then electric service payments. This is about 912 of the total. I will tell you also that 211 was able to make 178 referrals right here to Waukegan, or excuse me, that says Waukegan, that should be Zion Township.
Good. I was like, wait,
That's
why'd you refer
my
them
fault.
to?
You can tell I used the
Good.
slides over
That's
again,
good,
and
that's
I
good, good.
apologize. So I apologize.
I'm just gonna cross that out and write Zion right
It
there.
is Zion Township.
There we go,
I want
got
to
it.
clarify. That is Zion Township. Yeah, so you can see the county housing relief program, 103 contacts, and township emergency assistance 62 were the major categories there. So, I'll close by saying that 211 has become a tremendous service to the community, especially during pandemic times. Over 100,000 contacts since we launched this service. Zion was one of the founding contributors to 211, and I'm here to frankly ask for your support to continue this service. We expect demand for our service to only increase. I've brought some materials for you. You might recognize these.
Yeah.
This is a first responder card. Mayor McKinney talks about the importance of these where the police department encountered an individual who was having a behavioral health crisis. And even though the police couldn't really help that individual, they were able to provide that individual with this 211 card to give them a resource to turn to. This is something called a RAC card. It's the same thing, bilingual. By the way, all our materials are bilingual. These are displayed perhaps here in the township offices, but in schools, public libraries, all the service organizations here in Lake County. I'm going to leave these for you. We ask not only your assistance, your financial support, but help us to promote the availability of this service to the county and to your residents. So with that, I'll say thank you, and I'm pleased to answer any questions that you might have.
Questions, comments?
What is defined as special population services?
Perhaps elderly, perhaps children with special needs.
Adults with disabilities too? Would that
Yes.
be part of that?
I just want to say thank you for coming and providing this presentation. Your website has been very helpful, and just all the services that you guys provide, even the reporting that you lay out. One of the things that we've been trying to hone in on is the unmet needs.
Yes.
Can you speak a little bit about how you guys are tracking that?
Define unmet needs.
So I'm just using your website. There's unmet needs. I think the highest category that I saw for Zion was in behavioral health.
Yes.
So what can we do to kind of close that gap for unmet?
Generally, when that happens, that means that either an individual was not eligible for whatever reason. Perhaps generally it's where they live, or perhaps there's an income test. So what we would need from Zion is to help us understand, make sure that your services are updated in our directory,
Okay.
so that we don't have someone that goes wanting, even though there is a resource available for them. If you have specific areas of interest, I ask Supervisor Neal to share those with me.
Okay.
And we'll drill down on that for you.
Great.
I can tell you that as time has gone on, the amount of unmet needs has closed significantly.
Yeah.
But again, we rely on more than 1,000 service providers to make sure that all of our records are up to date.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Excellent. And just, Trustee Frierson is also the president of the Coalition for Healthy Communities, which is a substantial organization in our community doing this work, so. Yeah, very
So we've met a lot of your staff, and they've come to
Yes.
speak with us often, so.
Yeah, great.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for your support, and I'll leave these materials for you.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I've been a huge supporter from the beginning. I
Yes.
met with, just with Service Point and all of the different
Yes.
pieces all through the years, trying to get everything lined up, and SharePoint and all the messes. And to have this as a resource, a lot of people say that it's redundant services, that's what we do, and it is what we do. I was looking at, so you guys for the year, you had, what was the number? 1,000, where'd it go? For Zion Township, the number of calls.
1,078,
Okay, 1,000, what was it?
was it 1,078?
That sounds good, 1,078, and so, last month we had 679. So even though, you know what I mean, most Zion residents are finally starting to learn that, or somebody will let them know, a lot of times they don't know, right? And so, for them to be able to call 211 and 211 to be able to say, look, in your backyard is an office that can help you, it's really helpful to continue to put that out there.
So to clarify, it was 1,787,
There you go.
and we were able to refer 178 here back to your
Oh, there you
point.
go, right,
Here in your backyard.
yeah, right, so.
I actually have one more question. What can an organization do to get listed? So I had contact with someone today who's offering mental health services, and they want to know how they can better get in contact. So if
Yes,
they want to
on
get
our-
listed.
On our website, there is an application that has to
Okay.
be completed. Generally, it's for nonprofit organizations or for-profit organizations that offer a resource that is unfilled by any not-for-profit organization.
Got it.
But there is an application. And if your contact information is on the Township website, I'm happy to send that,
Okay.
that application site to you, if I can share.
Thank you.
Would that be helpful?
Yes.
Great.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Anybody? No? All right.
No,
Thank you
Thank
very much.
you, Dennis,
Thank
very
you.
much. We appreciate you coming out.
And I'll leave these materials.
Sounds good.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you as well. Safe travels. Okay, on to item 7, citizens' comments. Are there any citizens' comments tonight? Mr. Remmer?
Supervisor Neal, gentlelady, honorable sirs, I respectfully call upon trustee McDowell in his role as an ordained clergyman to say a few words regarding justice and peace and calm up in Kenosha when 12 good and true returned their verdict. Would you please do that, sir?
Well, sure. It's my hope and expectation, and I know that prayers have gone out in regards to that situation in Kenosha. This morning in our staff devotions, we prayed for the situation there and asked for God's mercy and His grace upon Kenosha, those that are making the decisions. And we know that justice is something that is near and dear to God's heart. So that's something we look forward to up in Kenosha.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Permission to stand down.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Okay, item 8, authorized bills for payment. Trustee Fisher.
Had a phone conference with Supervisor Neal and Assessor Davis. That was yesterday. So I asked for authorization for payment and bills in the amount of $159,749.82.
Is there a second?
Second.
And discussion.
So I'll raise the point. It doesn't change the total bill amount here, but in speaking with the business manager, the total liabilities and fund balance, I believe was skewed from September because of an early check run. So that has all been corrected, and we'll get new totals out next month so people can have a correct history.
For last month.
Yeah, for September.
Okay.
And he showed our business manager how he's like doing that work so that she can have this additional way to check everything. Okay. Any other discussion? I do have one thing to bring up on page, under disaster relief, we budgeted $10,000. And the line item as of this month is at $9,823.09. They've already processed through a couple of water bills, so we are over budget in that line item, which is not a big deal. We do the appropriation for 10% over, so this line item we've been using during COVID for residents who truly have a financial hardship but don't qualify for the resources, primarily homeowners. Because they can't get FARA funds to be able to help, and those that are disabled because they receive Social Security, so they aren't allowed to get emergency assistance. So we've been using those funds, and so looking at that with my team, we have like 2 options moving forward. We're in the middle of 2 of 3 water bill cycles, right, when the water's been disconnected.
Mhm.
And we're right in the middle of it. We have 15 residents that we're working with there right now to see if they qualify or not. And then we still have the 3rd run to get residents through the water bill situation. And so we have 2 options here. One is that's all the money we have in this account, and so we cut it off, and sorry, they'll have to figure out another way. The issue with that is if their water gets shut off after 72 hours, they are being evicted, so it becomes a bigger issue. So helping them to find resolve and working with the city has been incredible. I mentioned last month that my team met with their team, and David and I, and we sat and we came up with a way to like process and help as many people as possible, and it has been insane. We are just like so overrun with calls, and we are completely caught up with the calls, at least with getting residents the applications and moving forward with that. But in a couple of weeks, we have the next run that comes through. And so the other option, we spoke with the auditor actually, and he said that if we wanted to set another amount, that we could actually do a line item transfer from one line item to another line item, a process down the line. And one area that we could do that, because we didn't do a magazine, a fall magazine for the Zion Quarterly, we could take funds out of publishing that we won't be using for that this year. As well, we didn't do any other marketing because it's crazy to market to tell more people to come to us when we're already drowning and can't keep up with the need we already have. So I'm curious, input is not something we need to decide tonight, but to begin it kind of is, because we're already over budget in that line item, so we need to know directive from the board.
So are you looking to take the entire remaining for publishing and move that down, or
No.
some portion of that?
I would. What I would think is that what we could do is wait until the December bills come through with the water bills, and then based on that information, do that at the January meeting.
You say you're already over budget because you know that there have been expenses in November. Is that why?
Yes, because this is the October financials,
Yeah.
and before I realized that Adriana had already processed a couple of water bills.
Okay.
To be able to do that, so I'm curious, thoughts around it. The reason that we extended the FARA grant through the end of November was so that we could help as many water bills as possible.
Yep.
But after that, we'll be referring individuals to other organizations that are doing the FARA grants. We don't think anybody does it as well as we do, but
I'd be in support of a line item transfer.
Yeah.
Me as well.
I don't see a problem with it.
Okay,
Not a problem. Yeah.
okay, good. So we
Budgets
will.
are our best guess at what our expenses are going to be.
So it's really, really hard to know it, because we also have Salvation Army funds, we also have the FARA funds, we also have Mother's Trust, so we've got some other resources to be able to maximize as well. So it's hard to know, but I'll keep a close eye on it to make sure it doesn't go over. So, thank you. Okay. If there's nothing else, we have a motion and a second for the financials. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye?
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Next item on the agenda is to consider adding Juneteenth as an observed holiday to the township calendar. I was told it's been added to the federal calendar, and I was curious, thoughts around that.
It's a federal holiday, so it should be a township holiday as well. Yeah.
Good. Okay, we will add that for beginning January.
I don't think we have a choice, actually.
Good, well, okay. I wasn't sure how that worked. I just didn't want to do it by myself. I wanted it to be, so we don't need to vote on that if it's a federal holiday and we just do that? Or should we anyway?
No, I think you do, because not everybody, just because they adopt the holidays doesn't mean they take it off.
Right.
Okay.
Like some people have to use their personal time,
Oh,
That's
wow,
true.
okay,
so at least if you all,
okay.
it'll be in the
So-
record.
So is there a motion to make Juneteenth an observed holiday for the township calendar?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye?
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Item 10, discussion regarding the levy for tax year 2021. So Sandra put together the information for everybody to show where we are and the recommendation moving forward. And we've been working to spend down the beginning balance, although I'm very grateful to hear that the state of Illinois passed a bill. So you got penalized. There were lawsuits that went out, and we actually got hit by it as well. If you had more than 2.5 times your, no, more than 2 times, whatever it is, the town fund, and more than 1.01 of your GA fund. And so, when I learned that, and I went to the Township Conference to find out, because I was always told that you should always have a 2-year surplus because you never know what's gonna happen. And so what their consensus was 3 to 6 months. And I was like, well, what is it, right? I mean, there's a number there, 3 or 6 months. And so nobody would tell me, so we went with 4.5 months. And so we've been working to spend down our beginning surplus to have 4.5 months. And as you can see, so we brought it down $45,000 last year, but now within 2 years, if we don't make a swing back upward, it's gonna put us in dire straits to balance it out once and for all, to keep our balance for the town fund at 258, about 259,000 is the 4.5 month line. And then as well in the general assistance, to raise that, the 45,000. And these numbers I shared with you guys last year that we would be in this position to need to do this. And then for IMRF, we've had it at 5,000 every year, even though the expenses are close to 37,000 a year. And so we need to raise that up to 24 this year, or no, we need to increase it 20 this year to balance it out moving forward. And then for the Social Security, we need to increase it $1,500 moving forward, and to just keep balancing it out. So yeah, so this is our recommendation. I intend to take a closer look at it. I had some conversations with Trustee McDowell and Trustee Frierson, and of course the Finance Trustee, and just to get some perspective. And there's a couple of things that we'll be able to bring it down a little bit. One being the capital fund, because we refinanced, and so that'll save us about $12,000 a year to be able to bring that down a little bit. So just looking at where we could do some adjusting in this, but overall, we're obviously going to need to now increase some. The numbers that we're recommending don't even come close to our limit. There's quite a bit of room from that space for the limit, which we have no intention of needing to do. We had to do that, and I think it was in 2015 and 16, and that was when our funds literally dropped from close to 2 million over a few years period down to 1 million, and so spent a lot of time doing that. But yeah, so that's what I got. So
for comparison, I'd like to see what these figures would look like with a flat levy.
okay. So just looking at, just as a talking point, right, for right now, if you look at IMRF, if we were to go with a flat levy
Yeah, I don't know if that's something that we can get into with what's in front of us here. The other thing that I was looking at, based on the previous 2 years, is our actual revenue came in above that levy amount.
Mm-hmm.
And so factoring that in, that would take these numbers down a little bit more as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can go back and do another round of this
Mm-hmm.
and see how the numbers shake out.
Yeah, and I agree. I do think that we could lower it a little bit. The discussion.
I wasn't suggesting that we do it tonight. I'm
Right.
just saying that for comparison,
Yeah.
I'd like to see what a flat levy would look like, and then, if necessary, and if the board wants to, find some kind of a medium
Say more
between
about
what
that.
you're proposing here and what a flat levy would be.
Right, and so finding some kind of a medium, like someplace in between that, or,
I'm not presupposing what the board would do, but I want to see what a flat levy would look like.
okay, all right. Good, so what I will do is, it will absolutely not be more than this. We will look at it and see what we would recommend, and we will also put in a flat levy to see how that would play out, and what the end results will be for each of the funds.
Yeah, thanks.
So perfect. And so what I would do for the flat levy, because in keeping a flat levy, recognizing that because we have been budgeting in the red for the last few years, right, on purpose. And now we're getting to a place where we won't have the cushion of the balance to be able to bounce off of, right? So what I'll do is I'll play it out, you know, a few years to see like how soon before we can't make payroll. You know, if we were to do that. So I will definitely, and I'll get that to you guys soon.
Yeah, we always have to keep in mind the domino effect of the PTEL, and that what would be a minor or moderate increase now, if we delay it, will end up costing us more in the long run. Because then you'll be faced with a situation where you don't have enough revenue to cover your operations costs. So.
It's happening some other places, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Not
Yes.
the township. No. And so, yeah, appreciate that. Cool. So, excellent. So, yeah, we will definitely take a look at that. Okay. Any other comments in regards to the levy? Okay. Moving on. Item 11, Assessors Report.
Okay, good evening. We had we have a final count of our hearings, and 69% of the hearings that we had this year were residential, and 31 were commercial. Across the board through the county, it was a much smoother process. Less appeals than normal throughout the county, and we accounted a lot of that to our automated system, our process that we have, which in the past was all paper. So that helped out a lot, and then also we had virtual hearings. So I think I shared with you guys, we did the actual hearings in the morning where we, spoke with the taxpayers, and then in the afternoon they did the letters where just the board members went through the actual letters. You don't have any contact with anyone, so they could get a lot more of those quicker. So it was like a half a day for assessors, staff to actually be present for hearings. Whereas in the past, you could have hearings scheduled and you'd be there all day, and in between those hearings, you had to be there so that you could be present when your time came for the actual hearing. So that was a good improvement to the process. So praying that it will continue to move forward in the same direction. The other thing is that we have on our agenda nowadays is that we are completing field work, and basically as weather permits, and that consists of our new sales, new discoveries, and permit work, and that just allows us to keep up with the most accurate information for our books. And so this means that our staff is actually out in the field, so you guys may see them around. We do have our magnets on the car, we do have our IDs on, so just please be nice, wave. Wave at them, they're just doing their job. And just so you guys, may understand, anytime someone purchases a home, we get that information from the county. We actually go out and take a picture of the new home, of the home as a new sale. So that we can have, a more recent picture of them. New discoveries may be through, just in our day-to-day work, we may find that there is a property that has air conditioning, and our records are not showing that they have an air conditioning unit, or they have a new deck, and we, didn't have that on our records. So we would schedule a time where we would go out and do an inspection to verify that information. If they're not there, we leave them a door knocker, some information, let them know that we've come to their property, and they can call us if they have any questions. So, those are some of the things besides just when someone does actually get a permit for some work that they have done. Once the work has been completed, we go out there to validate and verify. take pictures of any, you know, anything that, that we can, that they will allow us to. So that we can have that more updated information on our records as well. And, that's about it. Thank you so much for your time.
Any questions?
Just curious, how many actual challenges were made? I see the outcomes of the hearings were 69% residential and 31 commercial, but do you know the numbers? How many?
How many?
How many challenges there were to the assessment?
So, we had 223 appeals.
Okay.
Total.
Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. Next item is Supervisors Report. Just to share a few things. The fair applications will be received by Zion Township through November 23rd, although the program will continue through other agencies through September of 2022. Also, to let everybody know, Zion Township will have minimal staffing through January 1st due to vacations. And the office will be closed for the holidays, for Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Martin Luther King, and then we will be hosting a staff retreat on January 19th. As well, just to remind everybody, we do this fancy report that we put on our website every month that just shares the number of calls and all of the different services that we provide throughout the month and how things went. I just want to give a shout out to our 12 new graduates from the Zion Benton Leadership Academy. The graduation was last Saturday at Zion Benton Township High School. It was phenomenal. Grateful for the relationship, and just to say that when Mr. Wilkinson, Dr. Wilkinson came here from the business manager from the high school with Dr. Rodriguez to share with us and to do the agreement, it worked out perfectly because the Leadership Academy is something that the township works extensively with, that they gave us that relationship agreement cost for. So it was good. We appreciated it. Additionally, the next Zion Quarterly will be coming out in January 2022. There was a meeting with all of the marketing people from the different taxing bodies, and everybody's on the same page. We are incorporating a community calendar. So anybody in the community, if there's an event in January, February, March, if you could please email that to zbquarterly@gmail.com, and we will make sure that we get it on the community calendar for that.
How do you put that word out to people to do that?
I know, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we need
That's
to do like a blitz
Yeah.
to try and do it. What we are doing is reaching out individually to all the civic groups, the chamber, or not the chamber, the historical society, different groups that tend to have events going on. But yeah, if you have any thoughts or ideas on anybody else we can reach out to, that would be good. Because we would love to have that thing full, right, of the
Yeah.
different
Right.
things. Just to share, kind of hot off the press, the community leaders we meet every other month, and last year we did where each of the taxing bodies got up and just shared what our successes were for the last year, and we have agreed on a date of Saturday, March 12th, to host, instead of individually, a panel sharing the different collaborations that we've participated in together, and then we're talking about having focus group conversations to get input from residents on what they would like to see moving forward. So put that on your calendar. We would love to have everybody there for that. Just got back on Friday from Shipshawana with the Red Hatters. Phenomenal trip. The good news is the bus ran wonderfully. The bad news is now we have 2 tires that are slashed. So we had a situation where at 3:41 in the morning, somebody came and slashed the tires. They also hit 2 vans across the street at the Lake County Health Department. I'm very grateful that we have Ring cameras, and that individual now has a place to stay for the winter, because otherwise he would have, I have a feeling that it was intentional to get 3 squares and a place to sleep. So because it was very clear on the camera who it was. So that's taken care of. Additionally, Elf Network is kicking off. If you know of a family that lives in Zion that would appreciate some help over the Christmas holiday, have them reach out to Grace and she will do the application. And once again, partnering with Christ Community Church to make Christmas an incredible blessing. His team is so on it, as well as Santa's Helpers, Rick DeLille and their group, to make that happen. And just to do a shout out, even though the weather was dismal, Trail of Treats was a huge success. I thought we brought 500 bags of candy. We actually brought 575 bags of candy, and the Park District said that they actually had 600 kids total that went through. Round of applause to Lou for, like, oh my gosh, doing traffic control. Lou was insane. She was sitting out there just drenched. So ESDA shows up every time, and what you guys do is really incredible. Thank you.
For the hot chocolate.
You're welcome.
You and I both appreciate it.
Yeah, right. My staff sent me out. They were like, look, you were supposed to bring out chocolate, but I had to bring the tent. So yeah. Anyway, it was yeah. It really showcased the community spirit that we have. They have so many crazy community leaders out there.
Can I add to that?
Sure.
Just a little? It also showcased our community spirit that probably at least 7 or 8 complete strangers asked me if I needed an umbrella. And people I know asked me if I needed an umbrella. And
Right.
it's hard to direct traffic with an umbrella.
Yeah.
I wish it was a hat to keep my glasses dry.
Right. Oh.
But, I mean, people just didn't even know me, had no clue if they'd get it back or not.
Oh my
Offered
gosh.
me an umbrella, and that's just how our town is. So anybody that says we don't have a good town, the heck with them, I don't hear.
Right. Amen. Very cool. Thank you. And then today we participated in the Zion Benton Township High School Resource Fair, and just kudos to Ramla Hakeem Walker. She's a ZB graduate, or a Zion Benton Leadership Academy graduate from this year, and she's the one that spearheaded that, along with the veterans event that was held out at the high school too. So kudos to her. And I don't know if your guys say this too, but I forgot to fill in the blanks. But the Zion Historical Society is hosting a Santa Ball on December 4th. And so they desperately need the support. They've got a porch that is falling down. If you could share more, because you're on the board.
Well, that porch repair has been completed.
Oh.
Now we have to pay for it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Very cool.
The contractor, we gave a down payment, and now we owe about $15,000 on it.
Wow, wow, that's awesome that they were willing. So now it's all the different plans. So there's going to be a craft fair there this weekend, and then the Santa Ball's coming up, and a number of other things. So it's pretty exciting. So yeah. So that's, oh, wait a second. So I did share.
Well, if you're making announcements, Santa is going to be at the Shiloh House on.
Yes.
the
So while you look that up, just to share that one of the things I'm also
27th.
looking for is place to store the bus in the winter. It's too big to put in our garage, which we didn't think about the height, but it wouldn't have mattered because we needed that height anyway. But if anybody has any ideas on a location that could be stored, to be pulled out, once a month, or when my father's business needs it for the basketball program. So, okay, sorry about that, go ahead.
Yeah, that was it.
No.
Santa is going to be arriving at the Shiloh House on Saturday, the 27th at 2 p.m.
Ooh, wait, the 27th of November?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ah, okay.
Saturday, 11/27 at 2 p.m. at Shiloh House. Yay, thank you. That's like new news. Excellent. The Park District's also going to be hosting some really cool Christmas things this year. They're going to be doing the lighted drive and a tree that, a lot of really cool stuff. So check out the Park District's website as well.
We also have our annual Shop with a Cop on December 4th at Walmart. CBS was out yesterday doing a profile, so looking forward to that as well. If you'd like to sponsor a family, you can go to zbchc.com and find the donate PayPal link there. So I think we're looking to have about 40 families. So again, if you'd like to contribute,
Do that again?
zbchc.com. And there's an opportunity link for donations on there. And then you could just mention Shop with a Cop, and then it'll go toward that program. So again, that's December 4th.
What time was that?
That'll be at 8 a.m.
Yeah. Excellent. Also on December 4th, Michelle Batts is Corey's Project. Their fundraiser is taking place that day too. And so it's another incredible thing to participate in this year. Cool. Lots of good stuff. So if there's nothing else to come before the board, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Board, please call the roll.
Trustee McDowell?
Aye?
Trustee Ryerson?
Aye.
Trustee Fisher?
Aye.
Trustee Holmes?
Aye.
Chairman Neal?
Aye. Meeting adjourned.